She didn't wake up one day deciding to destroy you. She didn't have a crisis of conscience the night before. She didn't plan the encounter. It just happened. And when you finally find out, the phrase you hear is always the same. I didn't think, it just happened. That's the moment you realize you've spent months, maybe years, sitting in a chair that was no longer yours. This video will show you why women cheat without a second thought, and more importantly, how you left the chair vacant without even realizing it. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do to never be caught by surprise again. But fair warning, what I'm about to reveal goes against everything you've been taught about relationships. You grew up believing that infidelity is an act of pure malice, that a woman wakes up, looks at you, and consciously decides to cheat because she's evil, calculating, or because you've completely failed as a man. Lie. The truth no one tells you is this: female infidelity is rarely premeditated. It's the result of a gradual erosion of your perceived value, the absence of clear boundaries, and an environment she exploits for convenience or a search for validation. It's not about her being bad. It's about you leaving the space open. And when that space exists, someone will occupy it. Always. Think of the relationship as a game of chairs. You have a chair. That chair is your position, your value, your presence in the relationship. But empty chairs attract people. And if you're not sitting properly, if you don't occupy that space with authority, if you get up and leave her alone for too long, someone else will sit in your place. And the worst part? She'll let them, because deep down, she's testing if you truly deserve that chair. Every day you ignore a sign, every boundary you let be crossed, every test you fail, you're telling her, you can switch chairs, I won't do anything. The formula is simple and brutal. When your perceived value drops and your boundaries disappear, infidelity stops being a transgression and becomes a convenient option. And convenience, my friend, is fidelity's greatest enemy. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how this erosion happens. There are 7 patterns you need to name to master. First, subtle disinvestment. Your partner gradually reduces effort, attention, or intimacy. She doesn't wake up and say, "It's over." She simply stops investing. Less initiative in conversations, less physical touch, more time on her phone, less in your eyes. You ask about her day, she responds with monosyllables. You try for a kiss, she turns her face away. Small things. But accumulated small things destroy mountains. You ignore it because you're tired, because you think it's a phase. It's not a phase. It's the first warning that the chair is becoming vacant. Second, boundary tests. The woman tests the man's tolerance for unacceptable behavior. She does this because she needs to know if you still have a backbone, a discreet flirtation with another. Guy in front of you, a disrespectful comment about your masculinity, going out without telling you. She doesn't do this because she wants to hurt you. She does it because she needs to confirm that you're still in charge. And when you swallow hard and do nothing, when you laugh nervously or change the subject, you failed. And she mentally notes, he accepts anything. The chair is officially available. Third, the friendship frame. The woman starts treating her partner more like a friend than a lover. She shares details about other men, asks for advice about problems with male friends, talks about ex-boyfriends with nostalgia. You become the confidant, the therapist, the gay friend. And in this role, you completely lose sexual tension, polarity, attraction. You become too safe. And security without desire is the slow death of a relationship. She no longer sees you as the man who conquers her. You're the guy who listens. And meanwhile, another guy is occupying the role that was yours. Fourth, openness to opportunities. The woman puts herself in situations where infidelity is more likely. Frequent nights out with friends without details, excessive contact with specific coworkers, direct messages she hides. She's not planning to cheat on you. She's creating the conditions so that if the opportunity arises, it's easy. Because deep down, a part of her has already accepted that you're not filling that chair properly. And when opportunity knocks, she doesn't have to think twice. The decision was already made months ago. Fifth, veiled complaints. Expressions of dissatisfaction that aren't direct, but indicate deep discontent. You're not like you used to be. I miss adventure. "So-and-so is so attentive." These phrases are not neutral. They are calls for help disguised as criticism. She's telling you, "Wake up. I'm giving you one last chance to reclaim your place." But you hear it as a tantrum, as female drama, as something unimportant, and you ignore it. Big mistake. Because when she stops complaining, it's not because things got better. It's because she's already given up on you. Sixth, public and private disqualification. Diminishing the man's value to others or to himself. She tells embarrassing stories about you to friends, compares you negatively to other men, makes jokes about your performance, your career, your body, and you laugh along because you don't want to seem insecure. But every laugh is one less brick in your authority. She's testing how far she can go. And if you accept being disqualified in front of others, she knows she can do whatever she wants behind your back. Because a man who doesn't defend himself publicly won't defend himself anywhere. Seventh, scarcity of attention and validation. The woman seeks attention and validation outside the relationship. Excessive social media posts, seeking compliments from others. She's showing off her body, her life, her achievements to an audience that isn't you. Why? Because you stopped validating her. And female attention works like oxygen. If you don't provide it, she'll look elsewhere. And when she finds a guy who comments, who compliments, who gives attention, the transition is natural. She's not cheating on you. In her mind, you left the chair a long time ago. She's just filling the void. These 7 patterns don't appear out of nowhere. They accumulate, and by the time you finally realize, it's already too late. Let me show you how this happens in real life. Carlos, 32 years old, an engineer, focused on his career, he neglected his social life and personal care. His girlfriend, Mariana, 30, a designer, started spending more time at happy hours with coworkers, claiming it was networking. Carlos ignored the signs, focusing on work. 2 years into the relationship, a shared apartment, wedding plans. Until one day, a coworker of hers sent a message at the wrong time, and everything fell apart. Total cost, 2 years, an apartment, and emotional trauma that made him question every decision he'd made since. His chair had been empty for months. He only realized when another guy was already sitting in it. Roberto, 45, an entrepreneur, married for 15 years to Ana, 43, a homemaker. Roberto always provided everything. Money was never an issue, but at home he became passive. He left all decisions to Ana. He stopped leading. He stopped creating tension. He became the invisible provider. Ana started complaining about the lack of excitement, the routine. He ignored it, thinking that a married woman didn't need excitement, just stability, until her gym's personal trainer started giving her what Roberto no longer did: attention, desire, presence. Total cost: a contentious divorce, division of assets, damage to his relationship with his children. Roberto had the chair, but he was sitting with his back to it, looking the wrong way. Felipe, 28, a graduate student. Long-distance relationship with Julia, 27, a medical resident. Felipe was excessively available. He constantly validated Julia. He was always online, always available, always telling her how much he loved her. And Julia openly spoke about loneliness, about the lack of a supportive shoulder during her residency, where she spent 12 hours a day. Felipe thought that by being the perfect long-distance boyfriend, everything would be fine. It wasn't. Julia got involved with a residency colleague who was physically present. Total cost: years of emotional investment, a feeling of betrayal due to lack of reciprocity. Felipe thought that being constantly available was strength. It was weakness. And weakness doesn't hold any chair. 3 men. 3 situations. Same story. And now, the worst part, the mistakes you make when you realize something is wrong. Mistake 1. Ignoring signs. You see the disinvestment, feel the distancing, but you minimize it. You tell yourself it's paranoia, that it's your insecurity. Consequence? The problem escalates and becomes irreversible. The more you ignore, the more power she gains. And by the time you finally react, you've already lost control of the situation. Mistake 2. Trying to buy affection. You increase gifts, favors, excessive attention. You think that if you give more, she'll value you more. Lie. You reinforce the perception of low value and desperation. You become the guy who pays for attention. And no one desires someone who's desperate. You become the payer, not the prize. Mistake 3. Emotional and accusatory confrontation. You approach your partner with anger, jealousy, or direct accusations without proof. She denies it. She gets offended. She makes you look crazy. And you leave the conversation worse than you started. Because emotional confrontation without strategy is relational suicide. You lose the chair for good. Mistake 4. Becoming clingy. You increase surveillance, demands for her time, the need for validation. Where are you? With whom? Why did you take so long? You suffocate her. And the more you suffocate, the more she wants to escape. You become the prison she needs to escape. And she will escape with someone else. Mistake 5. Accepting broken boundaries. She crosses a boundary. You do nothing. She crosses another. You accept a flimsy excuse. Consequence, you signal weakness. And weakness is repulsive. If you don't reinforce your boundaries, you have no boundaries. And without boundaries, you have no relationship. You have a situation where she does what she wants and you swallow it. So, what to do? Here's the protocol. 6 steps you implement now, not tomorrow. Now, first, recognize the signs. Learn to identify patterns of disinvestment and boundary tests, to act early and strategically. Stop pretending everything is fine. Open your eyes, see what's happening, name the problem, because you can only fix what you recognize. Second, reaffirm your value. Invest in yourself, physically, mentally, socially, financially. Elevate your self-confidence and inherent attractiveness. Go back to the gym, read, go out with friends, build your life outside of her. Because if your life depends on her, you have no value. You have dependency, and dependency kills attraction. Third, establish and reinforce boundaries. Clearly communicate what is acceptable and what is not. And follow through with consequences consistently. If she crosses, you act. Don't threaten. Act. Because words without action are noise, and noise is ignored. Fourth, maintain the frame. Be the leader of the dynamic, not the follower. Don't react emotionally to provocations or tests. When she tests, you stand firm, calm, confident. You are the rock, and rocks don't move with the wind. Fifth, create abundance. Develop a rich social and personal life that shows you're not desperate for a single source of validation. Have friends, have hobbies, have purpose. Show that your life is interesting with or without her, because a woman wants to be in the life of a valuable man, not be the life of an empty man. Sixth, assess compatibility. Question whether the relationship truly serves your long-term goals and values, and if your partner is aligned. Because not every relationship is worth saving. Sometimes the best decision is to leave, and leaving with dignity is better than staying with humiliation. Now, the moment of truth. You have 2 choices. First, close this video. Continue doing what you've always done, ignore the signs, accept the tests, and wake up 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, discovering she cheated on you without a second thought. And when that happens, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember you had the chance to change. And you didn't, because it was easier to remain in the illusion. Second choice. You implement the protocol now. You open your eyes. You recognize the patterns. You reaffirm your value. You establish boundaries. You maintain the frame. You create abundance. You assess compatibility. And you reclaim the chair that is rightfully yours, not because you deserve it, but because you act as if you do. And action creates reality. The cost of not acting is simple. Tomorrow will be like today, and the day after tomorrow will be like tomorrow. Until the day it's not anymore. Until the day the bomb explodes. And when it explodes, you won't have time to fix it. You'll only have time to lament. And lamenting doesn't rebuild trust. It doesn't recover lost time. It doesn't erase the image of her with another guy. None of that comes back. But if you act now, you change the trajectory. You stop being the guy who was caught by surprise. And you become the guy who saw it coming, acted strategically, and either saved the relationship with clear boundaries or left before becoming a hostage to a toxic dynamic. Both outcomes are victories, because victory isn't always staying together. Victory is maintaining your dignity, your value, and your peace of mind. And no one can take that from you unless you allow it. So here's the challenge. Share in the comments a situation where you noticed one of these signs too late, and what you would do differently today, applying what you've learned. Be honest, be specific, because when you name the problem, you begin to master it. And when you share, you help other men avoid making the same mistake. This is the moment. The chair is yours. Sit in it and never leave again.